Yes, it's back, and this season brought drama that's going to keep me locked in until the end. Yes, I love it. I love it. Now let's get into Netflix The Circle. So for the ones who is new to the circle culture, it is basically a social media game show where the contestants can come as themselves or as someone else, basically catfishing the others. And the reason they are able to do so is because no one knows who anyone is. They are all locked in their own room, and the only way they can communicate with each other is through private chats, group chats, and news feeds, y'all. So of course, like social media in real life, meeting people and connecting with them is all fun and easy, but you really don't know who you're befriending in the long run. So it's best not to get comfortable, and remember, this is a game and $100,000 is on the line. So that is just a quick rundown for the newbies, but if you've been up on the circle since the first season, then you already know the vibes. I am not going to lie, coming into this season of The Circle, I was really worried because the first season did so good. And granted, it could have been because it debuted in the prime time of COVID where everyone was home and didn't have much to do. But in all honesty, it was pretty funny and it had many memorable moments. So when I turned on episode 1 of season 2, it was hard to lock in because the show had been gone for so long. But it didn't take long for the entertainment to kick in. So of course, we are introduced to the players. There is Savannah, who is playing herself, Jack, who is coming in as a catfish and playing his friend Emily, another guy named Brian, who is coming in as himself, Delisa, who is coming in as her baby daddy / husband Trevor, then is Terralisha playing herself, 58-year-old Lee, who is playing his friend River, catfish, and also Chloe playing herself and Courtney as himself. Yeah, I think that was everybody. So to kick off the first 4 episodes, the group of players instantly went into guessing mode and strategic mode, having conversations with each other, peeping and scoping out certain things being said in group chats just to get a handle on who they are dealing with. And eventually it is time for them to vote who will become the first 2 influencers on this season, which is so crazy because it's only day 1. But hey, the game gotta go on, right? So once everyone votes, the 2 influencers end up being Savannah and Terralisha, which is great because they both liked each other from the beginning and they were part of #GirlGame, which also involved Chloe and Emily. Now try to keep up with me because Emily is really Jack, one of the catfishers. But anyways, the Girl Game crew promised each other that they wouldn't turn on each other. And it was cute and it sounded really good until it was time for Terralisha and Savannah to hold up on their end since they had the chance to save someone as influencers. And when it came down to it, Terralisha held Emily down and Savannah decided to leave Chloe hanging and save one of the guys, Trevor, who is actually Delisa playing her baby daddy. Now when this went down, she started to seem real sketchy because during the girl group chat conversation, Savannah instantly, y'all, started going in on Trevor, basically saying how he seemed weird to her and she didn't trust him. But after she had put her distrusting feelings out to all the girls about Trevor, she ended up in a private chat with him and they started to build a quick bond. My thing is, if Savannah is the type of person who instantly flip-flops into liking someone, then she should have never started talking about Trevor in the first place and waited until she really got to know him or anybody else. But I mean, it is what it is. I just wish she didn't leave Chloe out in the woods. But hey, I get it. She thought the bond with Trevor was one that would keep her in the game, and in the long run, it was a strategic move on her part. So you gotta respect it, right? So we now have Terralisha, Emily, Savannah, and Trevor all exempt for being blocked. So they can't be voted out of the game. And the players at risk is River, Chloe, Brian, and Courtney. And I'm gonna get straight to it. The girls decided to get rid of Brian, and he was the first person to leave the circle. And the only reason I am letting you guys know this is because there is no real build-up for him leaving. But the decision did start up drama in the circle. I was all for, okay? Which came from Terralisha and Savannah. So Brian was the first person that revealed himself in the circle. So everyone seen he wasn't catfish and his personality did come off as sweet And you know, it kind of like made the group feel some type of way. So of course, everyone was all sad about him leaving, and Savannah and Terralisha had to put their 2 cents in about their decision on letting him go. So Savannah started off and basically said that she was sad to see him go. And Terralisha said she didn't want to see him go, which was really true. She didn't, but he was the only main choice out of everyone else. So that is when Savannah responded and said it was a joint decision, which it was. At the end of the day, Terralisha, you decided for him to go, but I also understand that Terralisha didn't have any other option. So let me run it back for y'all just a little bit. So when Savannah and Terralisha was choosing who they wanted to send home, Terralisha wanted Courtney gone because he seemed to be a threat. And if he stayed any longer, it would hurt them towards the ending of the game. Which as a viewer, I agree with, because Courtney was liked and he's a threat, so he gotta go. But Savannah became friends with Courtney and didn't want to send him home, which was dumb because she was playing with her heart and not her head in a game. Because if one conversation with Courtney had her ready to go to war for him, that just means he probably was the same with everyone else, right? But she didn't catch on to that. All she knew was he had to stay because that was her friend / alliance. So Terralisha was cool with it and she let it slide. Then it got to the point they started talking about River, Chloe, and Brian, since there was the last 3 left. Terralisha was not going to let River go because he was a part of her alliance. He called her her big sister, so he had to stay. So they both came into agreement with that. So Chloe and Brian was left. And of course, the obvious choice would have been to send Brian home, right? Well, it wasn't that easy because Brian was another person on Terralisha's side as well. So she did not want to see him go. But she also had Chloe she didn't want to see go either. But because she made the commitment to Chloe first and was more committed to her, she stuck to girl game and decided to save Chloe. Now, watching the show or listening to me describe what happened, I am pretty sure there is someone thinking, well, both of the girls had to do what was best for them at the end of the day, right? And Terralisha had to fall on one of her alliance, which I understand and agree on. Someone had to make the sacrifice, but this whole situation could have been avoided if Savannah chose Chloe from the beginning. She messed up the movement that she should have never committed to. Point blank period. And if she felt that she had to switch on them for her benefit, she should have found a way to basically tell them that she is with them, but not down with them like that. Because it is a way for her to say that without them feeling offended, because they do it all the time. And it's only day 1, so people can't really expect you to be all in and all down with them. But no, she went all in and made a pledge to stick with them, only for her to save the one person she didn't like from the moment the game started. She a joke. Hashtag pathetic. Cause that's just so fake. Like, I don't like stuff like that, but this just wrong. So that was just a rundown of what happened in the influencer circle with Terralisha and Savannah. Now again, y'all bear with me because these whole 4 episodes revolved around Savannah and Terralisha drama. So their names are the 2 that's gonna come up a lot. So moving along, into a new day after Savannah was the one to break the girls' alliance, she felt like she couldn't trust the girls anymore. Like, girl, you are the one that effed them over. They shouldn't be trusting you. Like, she's so delusional. But because she felt that way, she went to her circle buddy and her, you know, her all be all Courtney, and started spilling all the tea to him about the decision her and Terralisha made. Basically telling Courtney that Terralisha didn't want to save him, which then got Courtney all upset. Boy, let it go. But I mean, I'll be upset too, because you don't try to get rid of me. You don't know me. Savannah basically told Courtney that she'd rather see him there than Brian, which I understand because her and Courtney built an alliance. Well, honestly, they didn't even have an alliance at that point. They just had a ha-ha kiki bond, child. But whatever. And she told Courtney that she felt shaded about what Terralisha had said in a group chat after everything went down. And I just don't get how she felt shaded, because all Terralisha said was she didn't want to see Brian leave, which in actuality was true. She didn't want to see him leave, but she had no other choice, so she didn't want to see him leave. And because Savannah felt like Terralisha was trying her feelings got hurt, child. But you supposed to be this bad bitch, right? Why you in your feelings about nothing? Hashtag confused. So while Savannah was telling Courtney everything, Terralisha was in a private chat with the girls, Chloe and Emily, and she was telling them how Savannah was basically a liar because she didn't want to save Chloe from the beginning, and how basically she got to be excluded from the back. You ain't really were a game, so you gotta get out. Now, it wasn't that much tea being spilled when Terralisha was doing that with the girls. And they already kind of figured that's how everything went down, just from the mere fact that Chloe wasn't saved from the beginning by Savannah. So that conversation was what it was. Now, y'all, the real drama with these two girls popped up during the Truth or Dare game. At this point, I'm so sick of talking about these two, but they brought what needed to be brought to the show from a viewer standpoint. Now, the players inside the game probably thought they was doing too much, although they all were entertained because they don't got nothing else to do. But anyways, the Truth and Dare game had started and everyone went and did what they had chose. But Terralisha and Savannah was the last two. Messy. Now y'all, Terralisha is so blunt, which I love, but none of it is in a harsh way. So if she was talking to any other person, I am sure they wouldn't have any feelings about what she say, because she really don't be saying much. She just telling you what really happened. So when it was her turn, she chose Truth, which is expected from her. And the question she was asked was, who does she think is the biggest game player in the game? So she said Savannah. And Savannah knew it was going to be her, like, she knew. But I was so confused because Savannah kept saying Terralisha had something to hide. And she kept saying that Terralisha was bad-mouthing her. Y'all, Terralisha never said anything about her. This is the first time she really only said anything about her, about she basically being the biggest game player, which she is, because you flip-flopping. Like, you don't have no real alliance, you don't have no commitment to nobody. Like, that's a fact. You're a game player. It's like Savannah kills me. She's the type of person that gets her feelings hurt and start making delusional accusations about a person to make everyone around fall on her side. But because we are all seeing it firsthand, it didn't work, as on a viewer standpoint. Like, remember, I'm watching it as a viewer and not really in the game. And at the end of the day, Savannah was honestly just really mad because she got called out for failing to come through on the alliance she made. So, boo, get out your feelings. You did that to yourself. But anyway, Savannah couldn't take Terralisha saying her name because in her mind, she really felt like she didn't do anything wrong. But baby, don't make promises you can't stick to. But her excuse to justify what she did to Chloe was that Chloe is still in a circle, so she may do on her promise. But no, Chloe should have been saved from the beginning and it would have never have been any confusion. Y'all all would have been on the same page, because I bet if Terralisha wasn't an influencer and wasn't there to help save Chloe, she would be gone, because Savannah, you would not have saved that girl. You would have had that girl gone. So stop trying to act like you didn't. That's so aggravating. Seeing it is aggravating. Anyways, moving on in the game, it's Savannah's turn to play. And she's asked which player she trusts the least in the circle. And of course, she says Terralisha. Savannah replied and said Terralisha would do anything to get people to like her to become an influencer, but she won't save you, which was so funny because she was talking about her damn self. Oh, and she also said nobody in the circle would still be here if it was up to Terralisha. What? The only person she wanted to save was Courtney. Everybody else was on Front Street and could leave. Like, Courtney and Trevor was the only people she wanted to save, which was so weird. But once again, whatever. But she did, I ain't gonna lie, she did go in on Terralisha. So me, I'm over here as a viewer thinking like, oh, I just know Terralisha better let her out. Like, Terralisha, you better go in and get her. Because shit, that's what I would've did. If we gonna play games, let's play games. But nah, Terralisha folded and just called Savannah #pathetic. I love it. But that wasn't enough after Savannah gave that whole spiel about Terralisha. So it made it all seem like everything she said was true. Like, Terralisha, you could have gave us more than that, baby. If you gonna start, like, let's finish on a high note, okay? Okay. But after all that went down, of course the circle got split. So Trevor and Courtney were team Savannah, and Chloe and River was team Terralisha. And Emily was trying to play the middle, but really, I think she was team Terralisha. But as time went on, it was time for the players to do another rating, and the drama that happened between Terralisha and Savannah definitely hindered them, because they went from being the top two to the bottom two. Terralisha basically being the last one. Dang, sis. So the real plot twist came in when we got wind of the two new influencers, which was Chloe and Emily. Hashtag girl gang, right? Yeah, everything came back full circle and Kama was coming to bite someone in the ass. And the only reason I am saying this is because at first it seemed as if everyone a part of girl gang was Team Terralisha. But Savannah weaseled her way into a private chat with the girls and found a way to make Terralisha look bad. So the girls was all torn and they didn't know who they was like really rocking with or who they could believe basically. So the fact that they were the two to become influencers added real fear into hearts. On top of that, they didn't have the option to save someone from being blocked like Terralisha and Savannah did. And as soon as they found out they were influencers, they had to go and choose who they wanted immediately blocked. So everyone was up for grabs. Nobody safe. So as Emily and Chloe was making their decision, everyone was safe except Savannah and Terralisha. And while Emily and Chloe was trying to decide which girl to choose, the same two girls were having their own private chat trying to discuss how everything went down. But Terralisha couldn't fathom lies from Savannah, so she left the chat mid-conversation and Chloe and Emily came into agreement on who to block. And the person they chose was Savannah. Bye, bird. It was just so funny seeing her get blocked and being so mad at Emily and Chloe because they didn't have her back over Terralisha after they said they would. When she did the same exact thing to Chloe, karma came and bit her in the whole ass, and I love watching every bit of it. So just like Brian, Savannah was able to leave a message for the circle to say how she feels and also reveal if she was a catfish or not. Now, before this is done, she is allowed to meet one person in the circle face to face, and the person she chose was Courtney Chapel. Expected. And while with Courtney, she started telling him things that were all fabrications, and Courtney, being the naive person he is, believed everything she said. I mean, which was expected because he was Team Savannah from the beginning. And once she told him not to trust Emily and Terralisha, he was ready to start a war rampage about his circle dog, Savannah. Let me say how I really feel about Savannah and Courtney, because it's so aggravating. What aggravates me the most about Savannah and Courtney is the fact that they would get mad at everyone else for the type of strategic game they are playing as if they can be the only ones to play how they want to play. It don't work like that. Like, no. At the end of the day, everybody is here for the same $100,000. But anyways, we ended the first 4 episodes off with Courtney unlocking access to the inner circle. Now, their inner circle stuff was something new because they did not have that on the first season. So I guess we will figure it out on the next 4 episodes. So with that being said, you already know what it is and how it goes down over here. Go down below and comment your thoughts on this show and let's discuss, because I have feelings. Y'all probably got feelings. Let's talk about them. And last but certainly not least, subscribe and join the queendom, baby. Bye.